Chuck Norris! Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris! Yeah, the time has come. A man must rise. No occasion will stop him. Nothing can harm him, no matter how mean, no matter the size. Chuck Norris will win. I know you may not think it's possible. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital. I don't know, you may have heard, Chuck Norris can kill two stones with one bird. Listen here, I tell no lies. Chuck Norris destroyed the periodic table because Chuck Norris only recognized the element of surprise. When Chuck is around, you'd better get on your knees, cause when God said, let there be light, Chuck Norris said, say please. He's a man that takes command. He'll rise to any occasion. Bad guys be damned. Let's tell the entire nation. You know Chuck don't take no lip. Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the shit out of it. You know I don't need to tell you why. When Chuck Norris slices onions, the onions cry. He's never had a cold and never had lice. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. I don't know about you, but I can tell you this. When the boogeyman goes to sleep at night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. He checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. Yeah! Yeah! Chuck Norris! It's that time! That time to get gay! Time for Chuck Norris month on Toxic Tuesday! Yay! 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 Ah, yeah! Yay!
Good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever, how you go are. Welcome to Clobby's Comic Shop. 9 of you already here in our chat. You love to see it. What's up, dudes? It's Saturday night. We are live. Free Comic Book Day was today. It's been a week in the land of the funny books. And boy, oh boy, what a week it has been. So, let's bring this overlay down and talk to you guys face to face, because, you know, there is a guy behind all of this. So let's get into that. All right. So we're going to start off with acknowledging the dudes. Of course, holding down the fort both ways is Vince Womack. What's up, Vince? Thank you for your wrench swinging sources, sir. Lord Thoth. How's it going, sir? So I saw there was a He-Man comic on SCB Technical Guide. Doing again the 6th. Ah, yeah, you gotta wait. Yeah. Because, yeah, they gotta get in on all that stuff. I see John the Beagle Dad. What's up, John? The commenter said he will be here. I like that. I can get with lateness if we're gonna be here. Oh, whoa. Hey, everybody. Good evening from Hunt. Dude, you're back in America. Welcome. Kiwi. Ciao, sir. Great to see you. Jonathan Conroy. How's it going, Jonathan? D. Bud Martin. Hello, sir. Great to see you as well. And of course, to our others listening and lurking. Ooh, the tetrarch of apathy says, hail by phone all. As he says, appropriating my favorite Mr. T joke for Chuck. Believe it or not, Chuck Norris once judged a men's figure skating competition. He found them guilty. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, I like that. Keep that shit up, homie. I love to see it. All right. So Ironcaster is, well, he went to go BRB, but I'm going to put him up on the screen. So when he's ready to come out of the closet and talk, he can, oh, well, look at that. I was going to say, is he going to be ready? Lo and behold, the man himself is here.
Why, hello there, gentlemen. Brother, it has been way too long.
It has been. It has been way too long. Hopefully we'll be rectifying that soon between tonight and other future shows. We'll just say ... All right, I know. What are they cooking? Are they being vague? Yes, we're being vague on purpose.
The world may never know.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Well, I don't think what we're doing is evil, but pretty awesome though, nonetheless. I mean, would you say so, Ironcaster? Would you say so?
Yeah, I'd say so. We're up to nothing but good here. Look, I'm up here painting the shadow even.
Ooh,
got my little shadow mini.
He is painting the shadow. I love to see that. Oh, that's glorious.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. Turns out when he wears nothing but black, it's actually really easy to paint.
Oh, you don't say. I mean, the black makes it so much easier. Oh, man. I can't even imagine. Bro. That's great.
And done.
Done. So maybe more characters need to come in black just for that specific thing. Oh, we got Pablo on the way too. Wow, we're going to have a full house of a panel tonight for once.
So, all right. So, Nick, let me ask you. Today is a most holy of days here for the realm of comics.
Yes.
Why don't we start with that? Do me a favor. What all did you wind up picking up today? Because I understand that you went to go pick some stuff up.
I did. So I got my freebies elsewhere. I brought my kids with, which is cool. I'm glad I did. The shop by me was really cool. I had heard rumors, and I thought it was like just urban legends that there was going to be a food truck. We get there, there was a freaking food truck. And guess what they had? The guys had pizza at the food truck. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good stop. It is crazy busy in here. And I saw a guy who ran the shop because I've been going to the shop now for about a year. And I found a buddy of mine from my old previous shop that I used to frequent. I was like, "Oh, what's up, Charlie? Long time no see. How you doing?" You know, getting all excited, catching up, and we were talking about the old days at our buddy Keith's shop. And he's like, "Oh, Keith was here recently." I'm like, "Keith was here recently, and I wasn't here. What?" So it was cool, and kids picked up stuff. My oldest and youngest got One Piece Volume 7 and 8. And then they picked up some freebie comics. I know one of them picked a manga version of Stitch. And my other one, she got a League of Super Pets with Crypto. And she actually got a chapter book from a series of kids' book called Haven. So they got some stuff. They got mangas, chapter books, and regular comics. All both of them. So they definitely they picked out their choices. I only did 3 freebies on my end. I got the Mega Man one. I got the Energon Universe. I got Conan, Tides of the Tyrant King. I only had time to read the Energon Universe one, which was actually great. I probably only one story I wasn't too sure about in there, but 3 out of the 4 stories absolutely hit. Absolutely hit. There's, dude, especially for the G.I. Joe story. Oh man, the G.I. Joe story was probably the best story in that. It's all obviously original material that's exclusive to this freebie. I can't wait to read the Conan one later. I did get, if I don't have it around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay. No, what I did get, because I've been hunting down the singles of this story, Daredevil Yellow from Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's got me a single of that. And they had this, I haven't taken out the plastic packaging. But remember when Razorfish was talking about how there was a French brand of Conan comics, Bande Dessinée, and
Oh,
a while back I got a hardcover that had 2 stories. I found more at this store, and it was right here, this Cimmerian Volume 3. So I can't wait to read it. More French comics in Conan. I'm sure the art's gonna be amazing. I mean, the volume I picked up a few years ago was great, so I can only imagine this is gonna be like absolutely killer. I'm so stoked to read this. So it was definitely a Conan type of day for me between that and the free comic book day Conan. Sadly, once again, I've only read Energon Universe, but I was happy with the freebies that I got. It was crazy in there. Of course, I got a slice of pizza. That was good. The guys who were at, they operate out of that food truck exclusively. They don't even have like a location, on-site location. So, but we had the pizza. Pizza is good. I had a good time in the shop. It's definitely a shop I want to frequent more often. Like I wish I could, but I gotta find your way. But guy who runs it's really cool, really awesome guy. It was cool to see my buddy Charlie, who I hadn't seen since the previous shop. So it was just all around a good, successful day across the board. And especially with the amount of freebies we had, we only spent around $70, but all between the 3 of us, which I still think was not a bad price.
Yeah, sadly, I didn't get a chance to go today.
Okay.
Work had claimed me for the day, and by the time I got it, it was already like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So, like, at that point, just about anything I would have wanted is basically going to be picked over already. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to probably go to some other places to see what all I can find from it.
You should.
But I mean, that said, the Energon universe has always, time and again, for the last 2 years now, given us like a nice key issue that has teased so much stuff to come. Like like I remember, for example, from the first year, we got the preview with all the Megatron stuff going on. We got that first glimpse of Optimus and Megatron fighting. It was everything you wanted to see. You're like, no way. It was all kinds of fun. I saw there was even some other stuff going on. Sonic the Hedgehog and DC had their little crossover comic there. There was the Masters of the Universe / Dungeons and Dragons comic.
I did see a lot of people getting that. I did talk. There was talk at the shop about the He-Man movie, so it's clear that there's a normie interest in that movie. I'm still kind of jury's out on how I feel about it, but was it definitely there? Would people talk about it? Yes, there was a lot of conversation about the He-Man movie. Carry on.
Actually, that I feel like in a way that might be pretty telling, because you have some hype building up. There is a bit of a demand for it. There is a built-in audience, even if it's guys who are in their 40s is kind of like where the core audience for that has been, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is an opportunity for them to rekindle that love for that and to turn around and bring their kids along to see it.
Yep, agreed. And this is something I always try to remind people, whether it's I'm on Midnight's Edge or on Thursday night Throwdown with Comics Division. We have a very unique corner of YouTube, and I love it because of how unique we are. But we also have to remind ourselves at the end of the day, because of how unique we are, we may not have takes that are reflective of what's going on in the greater populace. I know opinions on He-Man seem pretty 50-50 in our corner, and it seems like there is a populace that is actually more interested about that movie than something like Supergirl. I feel like there's actually more. Not one person mentioned Supergirl. I did hear talks about people talk about Spider-Man. I haven't heard talks about Doomsday. This is not how I feel about it. I'm just going by what I'm seeing. Whether it was at the shop because the Tay had a lot of normies, or when I'm at work surrounded by normies. I've heard more discussion on Spider-Man and Doomsday and He-Man, even He-Man, than I do Supergirl. I think that should tell you at least, like, okay, at the very minimum, there's interest out there for a He-Man. It may not be me, and it's not. Will I probably see it? We'll see. I'll worry about that when time gets closer. But is most definitely objectively out there. Like how we feel about that, hey, we all be entitled to our opinions. But there is definitely a connection that this movie's getting with people that they're talking about wanting to see it opening weekend. And then we got
Yeah.
Pablo.
Howdy ho! Hey, what's up, brothers? Sorry I'm late.
So it's okay. It's okay. I'm just happy you're here. And what's up, Depot? Yes, we're talking about a free comic book day. I'm the only one who had it today. Caster had a life, and sometimes when you have a life, there's a price, and this price was payment.
You mentioned He-Man and Supergirl, and I do wonder if those two aren't going to be a really good comparison. I think between those two movies, that might be the two to compare because they both have sort of the polar opposite audiences.
I so
He-Man
want
that
to
was
see
really
it.
He-Man was geared at little boys, and Supergirl's kind of aimed at women and theoretically girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't thinking about that before, but I think that it's just a really good thing to hold those two up to compare, just to see which is going to please its audience better.
I think He-Man is gonna please not just the boys. Honestly, I think it's gonna please more girls too. You know why? They're gonna like the guy who's playing Adam.
Oh, for sure. Dude, there's something there was a lot of jokes, let's say Saved by the Bell and such, where Slater wanted to see all the macho movies and his girlfriend was like, "No, why?" In reality, women like those movies a lot.
Oh, absolutely. There's a reason why, if you look at a lot of the Latin American countries, European countries,
Oh,
when
dude.
you see those countries, they have a lot of them have the action movies. The Statums of the world, those movies do gangbusters out there. Even if they don't do well in America, and there's some that haven't done well in America, they have markets, whether it's in Latin America, Europe, and a lot of the women and men like them in those countries. The whole, masculine evil thing is more of an American thing.
Oh,
But
dude.
people want to see He-Man, and women are gonna like the He-Man guy. Here's the thing with Supergirl, and Supergirl may be trying to get more women for this, but with the superhero movies, it's kind of like a history repeats over and over again thing. They've tried this with the X amount of Marvel movies, and hell, even with Wonder Woman, a lot of the biggest demographic for those movies is still men at the end of the day. Doesn't mean women can't enjoy them or see them. It just, I don't know. Maybe women are just not into capes as much as guys.
That's a
But
fallacy
you'd think
that
they'd be an exception for Jason Momoa because he's in it, but maybe he's not the exception. I don't think Supergirl's gonna do well. It's not tracking well. He-Man, I think there's a lot of deniers, but I think it's still gonna do at the minimum. I think it's gonna start off strong, and if it's good, it has a shot, and that's the key word. It has a shot at making money. But Supergirl truly feels like it's DOA. This isn't, once again, this is not about me, how I feel about Tom King and that whole lore. That's not relevant to the normies here. They don't care about
No.
that conversation. This is a simple, does it look good? The problem is with Supergirl, there's not discussion on it. There's not words brought up. It's not even mentioned in casual conversation. Spider-Man is. Street Fighter is. Mortal Kombat is. This one's not even brought up.
And
That should
the
tell
thing
you
is,
something.
Nick, and I think part of the problem with that is when you look at that Supergirl trailer that got put out there, there's
Mhm.
one thing they did in that movie, in that trailer, they put front and center that I think is going to turn a lot of people off from the advertising standpoint alone. They hurt crypto.
What?
It's
Oh, the crypto thing.
Yeah. Say what you will about crypto, like we go on about how it's not the right kind of dog. It's James Gunn putting his own dog in. That doesn't
Uh-huh.
matter.
Uh-huh.
General audiences look at that, and there are I know a lot of women who will look at that and think, oh, they hurt the dog. I've
Again,
lost all interest in this movie.
if you remember, Superman was kind of had a bit of a save crypto. Now, I can't believe I'm going to sound like I'm defending Tom King or the Supergirl story. Was the Tom King story of this have a save crypto element to it? Yes, it does. I know because I read it. I know it was torture, but we're not going to talk about the torture. We're just talk about the facts.
But
There was
but the
there
difference,
was a crypto element to it. I think,
but Nick,
Cassie, you're
but
onto
Nick,
something. Go ahead.
the difference being this is in the marketing before you've even seen the movie. Like this
Uh-huh.
is very front and center. This is a key part of the plot
Uh-huh.
where you have a lot of people who are going to look at it and think there's a lot of fun action with this stuff. They may not see those elements in there and think that with Superman, who may not have thought going in, it was going to be about Crypto being hurt. In this case, no. Like the dog's poison, that is a key part of the plot. Like that is impossible to not understand.
No, there's a conceptual failure on marketing right now. That is, women support women, and that's not true. In reality, women are quite uh, hating against other women. Uh, you can see it in most of the, let's say, sexualization, quote unquote, of women on media. Normally, the hotter the women are on the movie, the more women will be against that movie. And the only outlier that you can see is pink movies. Pink movies normally have a hot woman, but also have a lot of um, messaging for women. Let's say Barbie. Barbie is a movie tailor made for women. It's pink, but also has a man hating
But that
plot.
also comes with a history of having a dominantly female audience too.
Yeah.
To add to your point, Pablo.
Is
But go on.
quite normal. The devils wear Prada and such. The women will be in a position where she can actually be quite aggressive against men, and that if you see the empowerment manhua, or not manhua, how is the Chinese one called? It doesn't matter. Uh, there's a lot of stories about women beating men on China that also are quite pink, and that's a trope in general that you will see wherever women feel like they are oppressed. You will see a lot of these pink narratives. But the trends are clear. If you have a lot more Thor on your movies, on your Marvel movies, you will get a higher amount of women watching those movies. Same with Tobey Maguire. Why?
Why?
Because women like hot men.
Oh, that's a fact. No lies detected. That's a fact.
So that's the issue. You can have both, but you need to market it as you should, as the people that want to buy it want it to be marketed as, right? Supergirl is about a hot chick, a hot, messy chick that has a dog. Is basically the premise that James Gunn has given to everyone, right? But she's a messy girl. So she's not your normal run of the mill woman. She's more tomboyish, but they don't want to actually market it as she is a fat feminist because, well, that is not something that you want to market right now.
No,
As you have
definitely
seen, those movies fail. But they cannot market it as she is hot and she is messy and is the kind of ex-wife you want. Because that will be too chauvinistic. So they are
They're
fucked.
kind of corner. They're kind of buying with Supergirl. That's the thing. I also think Supergirl, because of this movie, they should put out a movie on this character when DC's main characters work. I said this about Daredevil Born Again. This once again not about opinions on the show. I'm talking about viewership numbers. It's not doing well viewership wise, but I've also realized even when before Born Again season 1 happened, before opinions settling in, it still wasn't doing well even with season 1. And I truly feel like Daredevil is similar to Supergirl in a sense. And once again, please, guys, take your opinions on how you feel about Daredevil, Supergirl side. Opinions are not what's important. It's about the facts. Daredevil is a type of show you put out when your best characters are doing well. And it was proof of working when Marvel, hot off of phase 1 and 2 of the MCU, were success after success after success. Then they put out Daredevil on Netflix. They put out Born Again at a time where Marvel has been bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. There wasn't even a strong foundation of an audience to see the first episodes of season 1 of Born Again. Even of that. So I feel like Daredevil, like Supergirl, you put these types of things out. when your best characters are sorry, your most known characters, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and maybe you can make an argument for the Flash or the Green Lantern Corps, whatever. You get the point. You got to have your best characters operating and having successful stories. And if you look at the Marvel playbook, it worked. Captain America, Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers. And then once they got that, okay, now we can do sequels. Okay, now that we've done some sequels to some of these, we can now go into Guardians of the Galaxy. We could go into Ant-Man. Oh, hey, let's do an Avengers sequel. All of these things need to happen before they got into characters like Daredevil. They need to make sure that all the and that's how it's worked with comic books. I mean, Deba, who's in the chat, always says when Marvel and DC are doing well, it trickles down to the other books. And it doesn't just happens in comics, it happens in movies and shows too. You need to have your most popular things work before you trickle down to the other thing. But James Gunn is going some weird order that doesn't make sense because these are the things he wants to versus what needs to be done first. I'm not
Yes.
going to talk about my opinion on James Gunn's property. I'm just telling you that he needs to have these characters and he's not going for those characters. He's just like, well, I don't want to do Batman now. I don't want to do Wonder Woman now. I want to do Superman, Supergirl because I have a female version. What's up, Line fan? Good to see you, by the way. And yes,
Strangely
people, we
enough,
will talk about these comics shortly. I feel like we're just on a good conversation that we can't let up the gas anytime
Dude,
soon.
it's as you say, normally the market will work that if the big two are doing well, it will trickle down toward other customers, right?
Yes.
Other companies.
Yes.
But this is what I'm seeing right now in the market, and is a perfect almost mirror of what happened on the 90s. That right now is Image and is other companies that are not the big two, that are the ones that are having a lot of success, and that's
Yes.
trickling down customers to the big two. So is when these companies mess up and they fail too much,
Mm-hmm.
as long as there's a market and we are seeing that there's a market, there's an stable market for comics,
Mm-hmm.
you will have a lot of people that will take advantage of the vacuum on the niche.
Mm-hmm.
And you are seeing that with a lot of other companies. Transformers, the Energon universe in general is a good example of that. It's something that is captivating a lot of people that normally will go for the more mainstream series. But right now, those series suck. So where do you go? There's people that actually want as part of their culture, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean young people, not even people.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
almost in the 40s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know a lot of people that are in their 20s that really like reading comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they didn't like the comics that the
We're
American
coming after the
companies
big
were
two.
coming out with.
Yeah.
But right now, there's a lot of good entertainment, and they are going for it.
No, I will be fair here. And I'd say, Pablo, you are mostly, and I have to emphasize the word mostly, keyword right. Because Marvel has been sinking for a long time. DC seems to now be trickling that effect down because of the success of the Absolute Universe. I did see a lot of people buying either single issues, if not the trades of Absolute Batman. To me, once again, the
Huh.
story still doesn't look interesting to me.
Yeah.
I have no care in the world to check it out, but I will at least acknowledge its success that people are seeing Absolute Batman and say, "Oh, hey, Transformers have a book too. Oh, hey, look, what's this other series that I've never heard of?" I did see a lot of Absolute Batman from people who don't look like they have read comics, and that is a win I will happily acknowledge. So I will give it that. Absolute Batman and the Absolute Universe does seem to be bringing in actual customers buying comics and reading them and talking about it. And the shop that I go to, there is comic discussion on Absolute Batman and to a lesser extent, Absolute Wonder Woman. So it's at least there for those books. So once again, how I feel irrelevant, but the enthusiasm is there. It is real. It is happening. And at least now, can you imagine how much better we'd be if you'd have Marvel doing well right now?
Oh, dude, if Marvel was doing not well, but at least mid numbers right now,
Yes.
It
At
will
least
be
6 digits
incredible.
for best books.
Okay, what's the real issue about having mostly independent comics generating a lot of traction? That the whole system that depends on the sale of the floppies is the one that is actually getting hurt. Why?
That was good,
Well,
Pablo.
I mean, the ultimate problem is really Disney doesn't right now care that the Marvel comics aren't selling because because their bigger fire is the movies aren't doing well. That they could care less about the
Oh
comic books
yeah,
because,
it's not even a thought.
But you
and
know
I think
who does care?
if Marvel had everything lined up perfectly, they would shut down the comics publisher. They would license it out like they do for everything else because Disney never brought the Marvel stuff in house. They've always just licensed out like the Donald Duck and Scrooge McDuck and all the Mickey stuff because there are a bunch of like those bunch of bande dessinée like Disney comics that are out there, which
Yep.
actually are pretty good for what they're worth.
Oh, dude,
But
my Conan copy I got before of the Bond Destiny was freaking great.
like
Go
like for example, there's some Mickey Mouse comics that are takes on like classic stories and movies. Like there's a take on Metropolis that has all the Mickey characters. That's pretty good from what I've read of it.
on.
But that is sort of the big problem is that, well, I guess to kind of beat that dead horse, like James Gunn is just not the right person to run a studio. James Gunn wants to do your quirky, irrelevant characters. He's good for something like Guardians. That's why he's turning Supergirl into the Guardians of the Galaxy. He'd be good for doing like Plastic Man and I dare say Booster Gold.
He could
No,
do
no.
Booster Gold well if he doesn't make it an ensemble cast where everything is now a damn
Yeah, that's
team-up.
exactly the issue. James
Yeah,
Gunn
there's
does a lot of team up movies, and he's really good on having that chemistry on screen. That's why I will say, even Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that is a lesser movie compared to Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, even. But it's still enjoyable. It's because of those dynamics. He's really good at that. Booster Gold is another beast. Booster Gold is supposed to be funny in a more manly way. He needs to be the guy that is greedy and is lustful and is willing to do a stupid shit for it. Right? You remember recently we reviewed the Fantastic Four, right? And on the Fantastic Four, there's that issue where Johnny Storm takes a girl to the Baxter Mansion, and it ends up building, and it ends up being insect monster that wants to go into the negative zone. That's the kind of history that if you are making something with Buster Gold, you need to do. And he needs to be chauvinistic about it. He needs to be checking that ass. He needs to be making his movements. Because guess what? When it comes to face him, and that's the important part about Booster Gold, he messes around a lot. But when things come to face him, he faces them straight
Head
up.
on.
He actually tries to solve the problem that he creates, but he creates a lot of problems. He's an asshole.
Yes, he is. Oh God, dude, story of our life. But
Speaking of
he's
assholes.
an asshole, but he's our asshole. Oh, I was talking about the Common Earth, or was it Booster Gold? You decide.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
is the answer.
What's up, Common?
Yes. Dude, like I tell you what, like if Booster Gold wasn't so like dumb, like and I don't mean like dumb as in like he's like legitimately stupid. He's smart, but like he's just so, I guess always like because he's obsessed with getting his. Yeah, he is, but it's just because he's so obsessed with getting his dick wet that it's like sometimes some things just fly straight over his head. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for that, Booster Gold would absolutely be my spirit animal, dude. So it's like that's why I end up relating more to John Constantine because like John like does dumb things, but normally it's because he's hammered and then he tries to save somebody's life, but he's always trying to get laid at the same time. So he's always having issues with loose women. But yeah, no, I love Booster Gold, and I know I agree with you guys on that one too. I think I agree with Pablo on that one. I don't think Gunn's the right guy for Booster just because Gunn can't help himself but throw 5 or 6 characters in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what it comes down to is Gunn doesn't have the focus to be able to maintain a story with one character and keep it there.
No,
You know what I
he
mean? Like,
wants
I just don't
everything
think
to be
he's
a
got
damn
the
team
depth to
up.
do that.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about his fuck up. You need to teach him a lesson at the end of the movie, and for him to learn the lesson, he needs to go through hell during the movie. You
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
that's necessary for the character.
Mhm.
It's part of the mythos even of the character that he's the guy that does the best about his own fuck ups.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I'm going to highlight a few things. We have a good point in this conversation. I want us to continue, but I want to acknowledge a few things from Deeple because he's been ever so patient and he texts me these things and it deserves acknowledging. So, and then after we go into this a little further, then we'll finally talk about classic ASM. But Deeple says, I like all the John books except Void Rivals, I think is the best. Dude, Void Rivals is so underrated. And the best part about it is the free comic book day issue. It's going to get even more ambitious. It really is, especially with how the free comic book day Energon Universe 2026 special ended with the Void Rivals section. Oh, I'm loving Void Rivals, but I'm loving even more. And I will not say a damn word, but dude, do yourself a favor. It rocks so hard. And the last story arc, issues 25 through 29, soon to be 30, have been the best of the entire run thus far. It really has been great. So I'm glad that we're acknowledging Void Rivals. It needs more acknowledgement. It's getting some, but it needs more. And Dearest, I see your comment about Mask. It's a great addition. So, okay. I'm glad you just gave me a segue here. Thank you. It wasn't your intention, but yeah, you got it anyway. So I have people. I know, uppity me. I have people who sent me an advanced copy of Mask #1 that comes out in June. I read it. I wasn't sure about it at first. I thought it was average at best. However, there's an asterisk to this. All right. I then read the free comic book day Energon Universe special issue, and the first story in it is the story that leads up to Mask #1. I really enjoyed it. I'm now going to go back and read my advanced copy of Mask #1 and reevaluate myself because I wasn't wild about Mask #1, but the free comic book day story, which leads right into it, I thought was great. I was like, huh, was I just not in the right headspace? I don't know. But I really enjoyed the story, the lead-off story in today's freebie issue. So now I feel like I gotta do my duty and reread #1
Duty.
in time for June because I'm actually stoked to now read it because that FCBD story was really to the point, and it seems like there's some really wild characters in it too. So I am now very curious about Mask now because they added them to this universe. I'm actually genuinely excited about it. So it looks like we got some Mask fans in our chat. That's great. I'm glad to see that there's some enthusiasm. Who knows? Maybe when I try to get back to videos next month on my channel, maybe I can cover Mask #1. We'll see. All right. So I'm going to acknowledge these comments from Deeple here. He says, if, he went to 6 shops earlier to do free comic book day, and here are some of his movies. He got He-Man, DC, Marvel, Conan, Tides of the Tyrant King. I did get this one here. I can't wait to read this because that's the lead-in issue that leads into the next Conan crossover, which thankfully, this is something I give Titan Comics credit for. They don't disrupt the main storyline in Conan the Barbarian. It's in the same continuity, but like every story arc kind of bounces around in time, and that's kind of historically how Conan's been done anyway. But this will be its own separate series, not distracting from Conan the Barbarian. Thank you for doing that, Titan. It makes reading these so much easier. So that way, it's like if I don't want event stuff and I just want to enjoy Conan, I could stick with Conan the Barbarian and be all happy and jolly. But I'm the type of guy who's greedy. When I want more, I want more. So, Tied to the Tyrant King, sign my sweaty ass up. My ass is not sweating. I just wanted to say that. The cool part is, however, you do benefit from this story if you read it. Why? Because it picks up from a thread that ended in issue 12 of the core Conan the Barbarian Titan series. That was a 4-issue series that involved Cole, Brule the Spear Slayer, and the enemy Thulsa Doom. Thulsa Doom, after 2 years now, is finally coming back. And this story is going to acknowledge that Roman Reigns style. So because of that alone, I am stoked. Let's look at your other collection here. Don't know what Blue Lock is. Okay, cool. The Future is something. Okay, cool. I do like Juan Gideon. And by the way, Juan Gideon, who seems to be the credited penciler on this, he did a cover for the Horseman #3 for the Rippaverse. And that was the cover that I picked up from Juan Gideon. So I'm glad to see he's got work. Okay, either I'm retarded or my shop did not have Street Fighter, because if I saw this, I would have gotten this.
Whoa.
I swear I must be retarded, because I must, or I didn't. I don't know. All I know is I wanted this and I didn't see it. Wasn't really interested in Spider-Man, but hey, if you enjoy it, great, awesome, delightful. Some word I can't pronounce because I'm retarded. And then the name she lost, Nana. Hopefully that's good. Mega Man Showdown Special. I did get this, and I'm
Who was
excited
it?
to read this.
Oh,
Now,
I haven't.
Flash Gordon, I'm going to tell you what's going down here, okay? This one. This is the black and white edition of the #1 issue that came out 2 years ago. I have been one of the guys who would not shut the hell up about how much I love this series that was written by, past tense, Jeremy Adams.
Good
It was
book.
great. And now you get to enjoy it with full raw Will Conrad pencils. And obviously he's another guy who's killing it at the Rippaverse as well. This issue, bare pencils, it's great #1. It makes you want to read the rest of the 15 issues of Jeremy Adams' story. Dan Abnett starts next week, next week. And well, Dan Abnett's good. He's credible. And he actually wrote the best guy into the Galaxy story in comics. It's the one that led to the 2014 movie. So I'm going to give it a shot off of that. But boy, he's got some miles to follow if he's going to top Jeremy Adams. And then I see the Energon Universe 2026 special, which I really enjoyed. Mass Story is good. Void Rivals story. I'm not even speaking English. I'm excited for you to read it. And then he got a classic Transformers, G.I. Joe #20 with a cool wraparound cover. And I see a cool map underneath this all. And now look at this big ass book of stories of the Energon universe. Look at that.
Is that the Energon universe? Because I think that might be like that might be something from the older
It's not.
IDW
Look at
era.
the creators listed above: Dan Waters, Kelly Thompson, Andrei Bryson,
Okay.
Andrea Milana.
Hmm.
It looks like this is the what's those guys' names? Destro and Scarlet miniseries in one book. So that's what that looks like. It's like a hardcover collected edition. So he's getting his series in line together. And I like with Transformers, dude, he got an issue with the damn Dinobots. Bro, what?
Not only
You
that,
done good, dude.
that's a first appearance.
Oh! Shut the frick up. What?
Which, by the way, is yet another like group of Transformers we still haven't even gotten to with the Energon universe. For just to stand on that soapbox, for as good as everything has been with the Energon universe, there are so many fantastic characters and memorable ones that we still have barely even touched. Like the Dinobots have yet to show up. We have yet to see
Snake
who
Eyes.
else? Yep, Snake Eyes.
Aren't we only like 3 years in though on like this stuff anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But-
come on, let's not rush things. We've seen like, and I get everybody getting excited.
and
I was like,
hang on,
I would rather them not rush it because we've seen everybody screw that up way too much.
Go on,
I'm not.
Caster.
I'm not trying to say they need to rush it. I'm just saying, as good as it is,
Oh,
there
yeah.
still are things. There's still great characters they haven't touched yet. Characters that I would have thought would have been shoo-ins to be in by the end of year 2.
I
Like,
agree with this point. Carry on.
Like especially the Snake Eyes one, because it's like having an astonishing X-Men run and not bringing in Wolverine.
It's impressive how great G.I. Joe is, and yet they have yet to bring in their equivalent of Wolverine, and we've been operating since 2023 without Snake Eyes. I am so happy the series has been as great as it is, and it's been not just great, it's been fucking awesome as it is.
Well, I love the wisdom in that too. Like the fact that they're restraining themselves, right? Because if it was a cash grab, what would have been the first thing on the cover? You know what I mean? And they're not doing that. And that's really good to see. And like you said, they're doing great without that. So it means when we do get to things like Snake Eyes and the Dinobots and everything else, it's like, it's going to be really good. That's the hope anyway.
Yes. So I'm happy, Deeple. I'm glad you got a huge collection of stuff. That's what I love to see.
So there was one other topic I think happened this week,
because it's been a topical week between the Rippaverse news and then of course ASM. You want to talk of the Rippaverse news first, and then we'll get into ASM. Let's talk about it, dude.
Sweet.
Who wants to go first? You know what? Comment. We'll let you go first on the Rippaverse news. I'm sure you know. There's no.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into it.
I love this. I am super stoked about this. So if you hadn't heard, for whatever reason, you've been living on a rock or you don't live on Twitter like the rest of us, Eric July announced earlier this week that he is publishing with, I want to say it's Hatchet, but it's not. It's like Hachette or something. Hachette. That's what it is. Thank you. Because it's some European, it's some foreign company or whatever. But either way, the cool part about this is they are partnering with them as a distribution company, right? So they will be distributing Rippaverse books, and that includes Ripascend to places like Barnes and Noble, as well as I think if I remember correctly, Rippa even said Walmart in that whole situation, in that whole book as well, because everybody kept saying Barnes and Noble. I'm like, Walmart, dude. Nobody's tweets mentioned Walmart. Like, I'm gonna shit bricks when I see a Rippaverse, when I see Isom on a freaking Walmart shelf. You know what I mean? So this is one of those things. We'll give him the ability to be able to distribute worldwide. So this doesn't change anything with the website. That's the big takeaway. This doesn't change anything. If you guys order directly from Rippa, if you've got all your discounts and all your memberships and all that kind of stuff, it takes nothing away from any of that. This is just an additional way to get the books now. So it's going to make it easier for your local comic book shop to order these books. It will make it easier for all of our friends like Pablo to be able to get pay the outrageous shipping prices and all the kind of stuff that they've been doing. And obviously Eric's been working his damnedest to get that stuff as low as possible, but obviously he can't do what a worldwide global distribution network can do. On top of that, this now opens up the opportunity and gives him the resources to be able to get the books translated directly into the languages of the countries they will be sold in. Now, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that they are taking slowly because we've all seen the issues with translations. Right? We've seen what localizers have done in the United States. I'd imagine in some other countries, they're just as bad. So we've got those exact same. So they are taking all of that very slow. But this is massive. Because this is something like, and obviously everybody on this panel has been with Rippa since day one when it comes to Rippaverse and Isom and everything else. I mean, I was on that website when we broke that website, crashed those hamsters, broke their backs. They had to get rehab for 6 months because we crashed that site. I had to buy I won it all separately because everything was so broken on that website that day, but I got it all. And it's one of them situations where seeing what so many of us supported and what so many of us invested in now becoming literally international in a way that is going to put it into libraries. Okay, my kids are going to be able to go check out Rippa books at the library. Boys and girls, this is something that every independent comic book writer, every indie guy out there, this is something you dream of. This is bigger than getting picked up by Marvel or getting picked up by DC, because now you have the same reach as them and still complete and total control over your stories, your characters, absolutely everything. This is insane. This is huge. And I could not be more stoked for Eric about this and for the rest of the world, because literally the next day I was rocking my Rippaverse t-shirt, right, with all my Alpha Core and everybody else on it. I was like, this, and so I had people asking me about it. I was like, yeah, this just went international. And I gave them a little quick Reader's Digest version of what I just went over. And it's just like, this is insane. This is beyond, I mean, just all praise be to God for this. And Eric's got a brand new baby boy at the house now, as well as that gorgeous wife of his, and all of the success. And
Really
this is
nice.
something he started.
I talked to her once. Super nice lady.
Oh yeah, super nice lady. Like, this is something he literally started with $100,000 of his own money and a dream and an established brand. And we've seen $1 million campaign after $1 million campaign, and now literally the sky is the limit. There is nothing that can stop this at this point.
What I like
this is part of the renaissance. This is part of the renaissance that I've been talking about for so long. The big things that are coming, the golden age that we are about to see. These are those signs. These are the things that are indicating that is coming. Sorry,
what
I
I
just want to
like
include that
with
too.
the comment to piggyback, I just want to piggyback off your points, is it's not just about the campaigns anymore. Now, obviously, when those books go out, people who buy them online are going to get them first. It's going to be kind of like if you buy the single issue first, trade wares, get them later. And so people who want to wait for these things to hit international market, they're going to get them later, but at least they get them. And I'm happy about that. But I'm also, it's not about now being an alternative. I think this is the time where we can shuffle that word out of the vocabulary. It is now, they are a main competitor in the industry. They're not an alternative. They are a main competitor, and they're part of it. It's now just another publishing outlet. And I mean just another in a good, positive way. It's just now another outlet that is a full-on publisher. It's not about the campaigns. It's not about these other things, the big bells and whistles. This is now just about putting out the comics. And I like that he's prioritized that. It is a full-on universe of publishing. I'm so happy that we're getting a full-on universe. And for obviously, guys in like countries that Vince is in, Pablo's in, yeah, they're going to need a little extra time for when these books hit their markets. But I know when they get to them, we can still play off of that when we do more streams to talk about those books more often. And on top of it, it's good that we're trying to get to normies. And I'm going to get into some real shit here. So, and I know some of it might even rub some people the wrong way, but trust me, I'm going somewhere with this.
Rubbing me.
It is really important that when we see stuff going on with the Rippaverse and getting these comics out to new people who don't read comics, or who do read comics, they're just now aware of this. We now get to a point where we just judge the comics positive and even negatively, or even if you just think it's okay, just as a comic, because this is not about Rippaverse now being a alternative now to the culture war. We can now just judge it as a comic without making 800,000, 900 million, 11 gajillion comparisons to the culture war. We need to shift away from that conversation. There's a lot of people, and I say this with the utmost respect, a lot of people are still stuck with looking at these comics through a culture war lens. This is the opportunity to get out of that lens, because we can't talk to people who either don't read comics or know comics but don't know these comics through a culture war lens. They're just going to be a bit more simplified. This is the gateway into that untapped market. And also for those who haven't adjusted, this is now the time to adjust, because who cares about some rivalry with CG? Who cares about how this compares to culture war? There's a time place for those conversations, but those should be the exception to the conversation, not, and I have to emphasize, not the expectation. We need this to be seen as a comic book company that is simply, and I believe that they are. I'll say it, and if I'm wrong, sue me. They are officially here to stay.
Oh, 100%.
It's really easy to make this understandable. If you are a Comicsgate comic company, or you are an anti-Comicsgate comic company, is absolutely unimportant. You know what's important? You are a money-making company.
Are you good or are you not? How about that?
Money comes
you-
when you do things right. You don't sell things that people don't want to read.
And
Especially,
the thing is, if you can't get books out, if you can't please your customers, well, then you're just gonna wind up in the
yep,
trash with jawbreakers.
Mhm,
yep.
mhm.
It's really easy, man.
I
People
just
want to
happen to
give you
just be going
money.
through my collection today. I'm like, I don't care about these books anymore.
Bring on
I
Pablo.
He hasn't done anything in years. So
Yeah.
I'll be
Bring on Pablo.
honest.
Then we'll let Pastor go after.
I have thrown
And I want
out
to piggyback off of that.
a lot of things that I didn't like. My collection is way smaller now because I have sold them or I have just thrown. I don't need them anymore, right? So I understand you throwing those comics to the bin, but in general, you want just people to give you money. You want people to be willing to give you money. If they can have their books on every store, on every single store, that's better, especially if you are doing the right kind of distribution and not the diamond shitty distribution where they force you to buy a bunch of comics that you won't sell. No, if you can buy exactly the amount that you are going to sell because people already have them on their pull list, that's exactly what you need. That way you can measure if the company is sustainable, if the company is getting even more traction, and that's good for the customer because if they don't see the magazine the on the rack at the right moment, and next time they go like, yeah, I will get it next time, and next time you go and it's already sold, you will want to get yourself in the pull list. You will want to get that issue the moment it comes out,
Yes.
right? So having it on stores,
It's huge.
it's also good for marketing.
Thank you,
Mhm.
dude. Pablo, I'm gonna piggyback off your point, then give it back to you. But I'm glad. Yes, there is a market. That's the thing. Reading is still out there. It's still bought, and paid for in the millions. And guess what? By younger folks, whether it's their money or their parents, irrelevant. They are still buying it, and they still want stories that they get into and get invested into. There's a reason why Dogman, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, manga, the 800 mangas that are doing well, are selling in the millions because there is a market still filled with younger folks who want to read. And no, even though I'm not interested, but it's selling in the six digits. Absolute Batman is moving, it's moving the needle. There's a younger market that wants to read whatever story as long as it's good. And Rippaverse can now cash in that market. Take it back, Pablo.
Well, and they want it physical.
Yes, they
Exactly.
do want it physical. Gen Zers and Alpha do want physical media. I don't know where this narrative comes from that they don't want. They do. It's actually the markets closer to my age that are not helping. They're the ones who are kind of not helping.
Kids are going really retro.
Yes,
Recently,
I
I
love it.
sold.
I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I sold a cassette tape player, right?
Yes.
Old Sony one
Boom
for a
boxes are
lot of
back.
money because people want them and people want the vintage stuff, right? But with LPs, you can no longer get those LPs because, well, they are really pricey. Reproduction LPs are selling like hotcakes.
Oh
It's
yeah.
that easy. People
I
want
saw
to
them at
buy
Walmart.
things that they can feel because you have your iPad, right? Full of, or not even a Kindle. Right now, there's an issue with Amazon that Kindle is taking out a lot of devices from accessing their servers. So if you have a couple of books on your Kindle, great. If your Kindle has a lot of things on it. Well, as long as you can get a replacement battery, you will be able to read exactly what you have on your Kindle right now, nothing else. Because guess what? You can no longer get anything else on your Kindle. So you
Mhm.
are fucked. And exactly the same way happens with video games. You buy a bunch of digital video games, then the company decides you no longer have access to them, like
Hi,
with
Sony.
PlayStation. Yeah. And that is bullshit. So kids are waking up to the realization that maybe having it in your hands is better
It
You
is
know,
so much better. It is, and
As a
I'm happy
culture,
for
we're
that, dude.
learning.
My oldest daughter, who's 12, gonna be 13 in a few months, in 6 months now. She has a wall of books, a wall of books, a
Guess what
wall.
my guess what my 13-year-old asked for his birthday, right
What?
when he turned 13? A boombox. A
ooh,
I
boombox with a
love to hear
cassette
that.
tape.
I love to hear that. See, Janelle,
I've been seeing a
get him
bunch of
one.
like
go
I've been
ahead,
seeing a bunch of
Caster.
MP3 players that have been coming up to look like retro VHS players,
Mm.
like because we are in that like 80s. We've been in that 80s nostalgia wave for like the better part of like 15 years. We're now
Mhm.
getting the 90s. Like so much of the stuff is coming right back around.
They
Digital
tried to
camera.
force this digital world on people that are tactile. We're human beings. We like to touch things, right? And
do.
it's like
We gotta feel.
they thought this screen was going to be enough for us. And it's like, no, we like books. We like picking them up. Yeah, is it more convenient for me to listen to an audiobook sometimes?
Of course it is.
Absolutely. But does that not mean I'm not going to, when I have the extra money, I'm not going to buy that physical book so I have it in my collection? Of course. You
And-
know, so
No, you're onto something, Common. And Vince is right. Don't rely on. Here's the thing: it should be there as nothing more than a reliable asset. Those
Yeah,
are the key
convenient.
words: reliable asset. But it should
It's a
not be your
backup.
be all. And I see this as someone who loves reading digital. I do. I love it, especially if I'm on the go. And a lot of you know I frequent the Chirac a lot, which means either long driving or long train riding. So it's nice to have that. But however, I'm not going to be in a panic if all that shit shuts down tomorrow. I'm going to be okay because everything has a physical backup to it. I'm okay with that. I'm real okay with that. I see younger kids having books once again, whether it's Dogman, whether it's manga, it's out there, and it's great to see that. I'm happy when I see Gen Alpha or Gen Z into physical media. It may not be the thing that I'm into, okay, but at least it lets you know, yeah, they're willing to get stuff, whether it's their own
Well,
money
and that
or
means there's
building a
a
lemonade
market.
stand or using their mama's money. I don't care. All I know is they're making it happen. All right, Paulo, do you have anything else you
Yeah,
want to add before we
there's
pass it on to Caster?
there's a clear reason
Sure.
why having a Kindle or an iPad or whatever digital means to read is important, right? Is accessibility. When I was a kid, I didn't have access to that many comics. So guess what? Those pirated versions of the Spider-Man comic series really good for me. I had access to Spider-Man. I was reading Spider-Man like crazy. Then there comes my Kindle, and on my Kindle, every single novel for Magic the Gathering that I could get. So the whole Ursa saga, the whole, uh, even up to Zendikar, I read. Those were on Kindle because it was really easy. Some of them are discontinued books, so I will never be able to get them. A Kindle is great for that. But you know
course.
what's
Totally.
not great about that? That I can say I have read all those books. I cannot say I have a single one of them, and I want them.
I'm glad you want them. Like, so that's good. That's
yeah.
a start. That's a start, and you take it, and that's fine. But Caster, I want to hear your thoughts on this big riff reverse because this is kind of exceptional. This is kind of exceptional.
I mean, it is big regardless. Getting to see it putting into these markets where you get stuff like for example, the Warhammer Combat Patrol magazines. To see this next level of that international distribution, this is beyond the scope of what we've seen with any of these other like Comicsgate independent wave of guys. Yes, there are your exceptions out here. We have books like Common America from like Timothy Lynn and his team.
The Cole
Yep.
series
Getting
from
big.
Russ Leach.
We are seeing the as good old Macho Man Randy Savage would once say, the cream rises to the top.
Cream rises to the top. Oh yeah.
That's
It
always
is
true.
it is a time for it is a time for to rise above the old ways of things. Like I can't tell you how many of these independently funded books that I've supported that are good, that are a good start, but or they were just like there to kind of sell you like an initial idea, and then maybe like 2.5, 3 years or 5 years pass before you get an issue 2.
Oh
And
yeah.
by that point, bro, it's been too long. Like,
Froggy
I'm
Frog.
sorry. I I wish you guys could have kept the stuff going, but either the work ethic wasn't there or just the audience demand wasn't there. Like,
No,
but
dude,
yes, this
you're
is
right.
regardless.
It's an elephant in the room that needs to be acknowledged. It doesn't matter how good it is, because your life can change, things can change, who you are can change.
Mhm.
There's nothing that excuses that type of waiting. It looks like a ripoff, especially when 800 other things become projects and that needed to be fun to support that other project. We don't need it. We don't. It's just, it shows you don't have prioritizing with management. You may have a creative, you may have you may be good at creativity, but in terms of financing, it's clear that you're not. And well,
And the smart
that
ones,
sucks.
the
To
smart ones,
suck
you have
as
to go
far
and
as financing.
the smart ones have got to go and are going to go and work with other creatives to collaborate. In fact, like I just happened to have put an order in with Ripiverse this past week or so, and I got me a little something.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
dude.
Awesome.
I'm so close to finally reading my Waiting for Nerdrotic book. I've had it sitting. I'm almost done. I have one book. I have 2 more chapters with that. I'm done. I've got one other book. And then once I'm done that, I'm going to finally read Waiting for Nerdrotic. I can't wait
That's
to finally
really
get
good.
my verdict on it. It's going to be the latest review ever, but I'm going to do it. I know Gary. I know Melissa. I've been to one of their houses. I know them, so I can truly like have a great introspective review on it. And they're people who I really admire and respect. They've been around my children, and they've treated them like kings and queens. I can't wait to read that book. I really can't wait. And Brad Young is just nailing it. One must be excellent to each other. What's up, Tim Hayes? How you doing, buddy? I'm excited to read Waiting for Nerdrotic. All right, take it back, Caster. And then I will acknowledge my direct photo.
I just wanted to at least touch on it as a topic because, in our realm of stuff, for all the praise we've given them, like this was truly something that Eric and his team have deserved. I mean, I know Andrew's posted about all the comics he picked up today, but these guys are working overtime, and they deserve all the success.
Work. That's the thing. They're too busy making moves, not worrying about everyone else is doing. Yeah, you'll see the occasional comment, but that's once again, that's the exception. It's not a frequent thing. It's not an expectation of them. Because Andrew, who, by the way, his story on Ripazine #5 killed it. Someone doesn't believe me, I'll buy him a $7 copy and say, hey, go read it and tell me if you feel different. And you'll be like, oh, Nick, this was good. Thank you for sending me that. And you will. Seriously, I'm not joking. I'm seriously not joking. Andrew's story, and I'm not saying because Andrew's my bud, because I have been very open about our vehement disagreement of Barry and Wally in the Flash. And you could swear we're enemies when we talk about that. But Andrew nailed it with his original speedster creation. So it's like, you son of a bitch, Andrew. I'm supposed to have a reason to clap back at you, but I like this story. So, you son of a bitch, motherfucker.
Just accept that Wally's the far superior Flash.
That's one of those things that, like, I want to piggyback on what you were.
There he is.
That's one of those
Dude,
things
Wally did the majority of the Golden Age. He did he's the one who perfected it.
Without the Speed Force.
Wally jumped on
Without the
after
Speed
it was
Force.
golden. He was silver and bronze.
Dude, whenever anyone talks about the Flash, Wally is the one that comes to mind. He is the Flash.
Young people.
Barry.
No.
No, this
Which
really
Wally?
looks like a comic book show.
I didn't even know Wally existed until Justice League.
Well, yeah.
Then that means you're ignorant.
Between
You're just ignorant.
Mark Waid, Mike Barron run the comics, and that's fine. I like Wally. I do. This is not a slight against him. I like Cassie, we'll bring it back to you. But before we do, I like Wally. I do. I think he's a fantastic character. But he is Kid Flash. We can debate this after we're done with this topic because we also still have a Spider-Man.
Now, I agree Wally is Kid Flash because Mark didn't really earn it. But still, he is the Flash because he earned the title too. Like, look at what he's achieved as the Flash.
Kid Flash. All right, Casper, sorry, before we go on and that's
Oh, no, I was throwing little water into the oil fire here by asking which Wally.
Oh, dude,
Oh, you son of a gun.
Wallace. We're not talking about Wallace. Fender and I
OG Wally West.
There's only Wally West.
There's only Wally West, dude, the greatest ginger to ever be.
Thank you, Fender. We can agree, we can finally come to an agreement. We'll shake hands on the park. Wally West, their 900 kids, awesome, great, thank you. But Wallace West, irrelevant. Wally West with the red hair, I like that guy. He's a nice guy.
Wallace West is the greatest sign
I would hang out
of
with
throw
Wally.
gasoline to a fire and not thinking it's gonna burn you. I mean, they tried to replace Wally. They got so much uproar with that bullshit they had to throw him away, and no one's seen him for years. No one's seen Wallace for
That's not a
years.
joke, Jim.
Hey, Enlightened fan says Barry Allen's the Flash. I'm with you, Enlightened fan. I'm the Barry. If Clobby were alive to this day, Clobby would be with me on my side, saying, "Hey, Nick, you're right." And then he would look at Enlightened fan and check like, "That Enlightened fan guy, I don't know that guy, but he's right." And I bet, "Yeah, Clobby, I know he's right. Tell me something I don't know." All right, Caster, bring it back to your conclusive thoughts on this Rippaverse before it becomes a whole other deal.
Right.
Just that this is it's a new potential. It is the potential for a whole audience of new potential customers, and with any luck, maybe they'll find a way to package some of the existing books into a new format to try to bring in new audience members.
Oh, I'm sure they will not rule that out. Knowing the way the marketing works in the Rippaverse, I would not be surprised if they consider that. Here's the thing. I've learned they will make adjustments for formatting, marketing, but they will not compromise the story. And that's all we ask is don't compromise the story. You do whatever else, but as long as the story's maintained, everything else, okay, whatever. So I can see them doing a format, maybe like a smaller format for those markets long after the original online people buy their books first, which I'm glad he's made very clear. Hey, you people who order online first, you still get the original OG copies first. You're the priority still. I'm glad because it lets me know. Because guys like me, I don't mind spending extra money. I want the story and I want it first. I like being that guy. Make me feel like I have FOMO, and he does. Like Blood Roof #2 that recently shipped. I love it. I'll probably do I don't know if I'll be able to do a video review, but I'll probably do at least a Twix review soon for it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I seriously enjoy the hell out of it. And the fact that we're getting a lot of books shipped next week, Alpha Core 2, the Black Eye Club, and the Curse #1, all shipped next week because they're obviously trying to get as much done before they start switching over to their weekly solicit books. I can't wait. And then when those books come out, give it some time. Let's just say let's just entertain possible scenario. A few years down the line, Alpha Core, just throwing a book out there, has 5 issues down the road. And not to where Pablo has read 1 or 2 or 3. Fenrir at least has read 1 or 2 or 3. That way we could have a full panel of us talking about it with confidence. And then we can have more panels on this and not just the occasional seasonal panel, but more like at least once a month. Wouldn't that be cool where you could do this at least once a month?
Oh, yeah, it would.
Well, and it's one of those things, Nick, like what you were talking about earlier about us being honest about this stuff too, because that's the other thing about this is like, I love Eric, right? I know his college track coach personally. He's a really good friend of mine, right? So like, I'm invested in these guys. It's one of those things but we always have to, end of the day, be honest, right? Because we can't become what we despised and why we took their jobs, right? We can't become what Hollywood critics and what all the rest of these shills and everything else became. Exactly. Just because we love Eric, just because I love Jason Sandberg, because I love all of these guys, doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize your comic. Doesn't mean I'm not going to
Yeah,
criticize
I
your movie
agree.
and television show. And
No,
at
we
the
got
end
to
of
call the
day,
bullshit when we see the bullshit. That's the point.
absolutely, you've got to
Or
be
even
honest.
if it's
And
just
even when you
okay. Something could just be okay.
absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with things just being okay. I like the Black Adam movie. Okay, is it a good Black Adam movie? No. Is it a halfway decent USA movie? It's not bad. But it's one of those situations where it's like,
I
but
like
even when it
Morbius.
comes, but I love what you touched on about us not chasing the culture war stuff, and not because I call it chasing dragons a lot of the time nowadays, right?
No,
Because
Pablo, you were high
you
while
can-
watching that. Let's be honest.
Of
we
course.
can
Let him
we
finish his
can
point. I get your point, Fenber. Let Colin continue.
but we we're reviewing Daredevil Born Again every week right now, right? And the thing about it is you don't even have to touch on the culture war stuff to review that show. It was the same thing with Creature Commandos. When we reviewed Creature Commandos, the culture war stuff was the smallest criticism we had of that show compared to everything else. You don't have to touch any of that stuff anymore, and you certainly don't have to run around looking for it, because that's
You have
one
a
of the
great
things
point
that
there, Jesse.
irritates. That's one of the things that irritates me about some of our commentators that we have in our shared space is I feel like a lot of them are chasing dragons right now. They're
They are.
looking for a cultural war dragon to slay when a
They
lot of the
are.
time it's really not there. Trust me, there are still plenty of them.
Some things
All
can
you got to
just
do
be
is look at
simply
like,
bad because it's
yeah.
bad.
Well, and
Yep.
even if you want to talk, you can even mention some, they race swap these characters. But hey, that's not the biggest problem about this show. Let
Yep.
me explain to you everything else that's wrong with this. You know what I mean? Because there are so many other problems with these things. There are so many other critiques. And if we get into that pattern with the things that are coming out right now from the legacy, that's a good training system for us to do that with our own friends' stuff as well, because it gets you into that mindset. And if we have to be honest reviewers about this stuff, because if not, we're going to turn into exactly what we hate. So I love that you brought that up.
Exactly. Can I point one thing out when you said there that it's not even ideological? Because I've been watching the Daredevil show from time to time, and the problem is not the ideological lens. The problem is literally the writing is moronic. I have seen several of the scenes, analyze them, the plot. It is retarded to such a point where you have to question: were the writers mentally disabled? Because it doesn't make any sense. And look at it from a running standpoint to the other seasons of Daredevil before the Disney acquisition. They managed to do so many different stories, so many different villains, so many different character arcs in less episodes than the ones we've been getting per season.
It's not only about it being retarded, because sometimes something retarded, something really
Actually, I cut that
retarded.
out because that's an insult to retards. Retards could do better.
Dude,
True.
there's some times
Retards
where
can
you
do
see a
better.
movie so astronomically stupid that you can enjoy it, and you can enjoy it without any guilt. It's not like I want to see.
I mean, dude, literally look at the Daredevil show. One of the main plots is that the King drowned one of his boats with weapons, although that makes no sense because he technically does have a reason to have the weapons sent into the city because he literally started an anti-vigilante task force. So he didn't have to do any of that stupid shit. He could have just run them legally.
Okay. So here's
Fucking
the whole
dumb.
thing. So, okay, as somebody who has actually watched the entire show and not just clips online, let me explain to you what Daredevil is. Okay, Daredevil Born Again is a prime example of the current fight that is going on in Hollywood right now. Because if you actually watch the episodes all the way through, you'll notice there are two writing teams. There are two writing teams writing those episodes. There is a writing team for the main characters that everybody loves, and there's a writing team for the side characters. That
I
are
don't
really
think
fucking
anyone
annoying
loves
that
those
everybody
main
hates.
characters.
Just can I finish?
Let him continue.
Okay. So that's the problem right now. And that's the problem is because Born Again is their attempt at shifting and going back to the way things were before. The problem is they've got all of this leftover bullshit and all these leftover hirees. They got rid of the top guys, but they've still got all these other people around. And the problem is right now. So it's literally, that's the problem. Half the show is pretty good. The other half is absolute crap. And they have no idea how to get their way back to the good stuff and just do that. And it's wild to analyze it from that perspective because it's exactly what you see going on in Hollywood right now. They are fighting themselves. You've got the part of them that wants to make money and get back to the good stuff. And then you've got the other idiots that are still so attached to the ideology and all the people that they hired during that period that they can't get rid of.
1 foot in, 1 foot out is where they're at.
Yep.
So, okay, I got a direct donation from Brad Young for $5. He says, evening, dudes. Hope you all had a good week. Brad Young, to answer your comment, I did have a good week, and I hope you had an even better week, sir. Thank you, as always, for your continued direct donations. I appreciate the $5, sir. That deserves a few clips and tips because why the hell not?
Huge! It's gigantic. Gigantic.
I saw you strip down for that hot tub.
His dick's not small.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brad Young. You deserve that double clip, sir. Thank you, thank you,
Nice.
thank
I
you.
love that. so much.
$5. Gotta get a little Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee and Sydney Sweeney all up in there.
You know what I have noticed out of late in a lot of media is not
Mhm.
only that they are trying to have it both ways, is that they don't really understand any of the ways. It's like you are trying to make a good action movie. Okay, great, have a lot of action. Why are you stopping? Why are you trying to explain me the plot? I was watching the movie. Let
Did
me
you
enjoy
hear
the
what
movie. Don't
Neurotic
stop.
said about that, Pablo? They're doing that thing, and they use it a lot with the later seasons of Stranger Things. I can't remember what the term was called, but they're assuming that their viewers
Oh,
are
yeah,
The
yeah.
retardo explanation, miss.
no, it was something else. It was where they're watching the show but going through their phones while watching.
Yeah. The TikTok retardo explanation. That's what
That
it's
wasn't
called.
the term, but there's another term. But
watch
I get your point is coming across.
30 seconds,
Thunders. I
let me
guess
screen
that's
watch
what
it.
matters.
Guys, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm paying perfect attention. I'm sorry, what did you say?
It's not only that. Is they don't really understand because it's no longer part of the culture how to let's say make a macho character. A macho character needs to be over the top. You cannot try to please anybody with it. You just need to go and make it as toxic as possible because that's the kind of character that you are trying to create. There's no compromises. There's no, if you're making a villain, you don't need to make all that backstory on how the villain become bad. Sometimes a bad guy needs to be just a goddamn bad guy because it's twisted, because some people are just twisted and that's enjoyable. You can hate the bad guy. All this Cruella had a sad backstory. I don't care. If Cruella had any issues in her life, well, she was wealthy enough to pay for therapy. She didn't. Instead, she decided to murder puppies. I want that character to be evil. I want to enjoy it being evil. I want to keep saying that character is evil without a bunch of assholes trying to tell me without any real basis on any psychological study, just because they think that the character is complex, that it isn't, that the character has all these problems, and I should feel bad because, well, guess what? If the character is psychologically deficient, and that's your excuse as why I should feel bad about the character, you failed.
Listen,
And that's a good
time and
point.
place for those characters, but they should be what we expect for the bulk of the time. Guys, and once again, as far as the culture war goes, there's a reason why guys like Nerdrotic, the Critical Drinker, Mauler, I listen to them because they're actually good at it. They're really damn good.
They're
Everyone
giving the
else,
public what they want.
well, not just the public what they want, but they understand the assignment better. Everyone else is not even second place. They're just far and away trying to be on their level with their takes.
Not
I know
every
that will probably
villain.
rattle feathers, but don't get mad at me because those three guys do it. I want to hear that take. I'm gonna listen to them because they're
yeah.
that damn good at it. But guys, we got a comp we get to, and I'm gonna let Common Nerd sound off on it first because I want to hear his take before he has to pull out because our man here has showed
he's
internet.
pulling
So
out?
to the chat, to
That's
our
new.
chat on YouTube and Rumble, I ask of all of you, all 12 of you on YouTube, all 6 of you on Rumble, I ask a very, very simple question. Some might say it's a little too simple, but we're going to say it anyway. Are you ready? Castor, Fenrir, Pablo, Common Nerd, Nick Weiser, are you guys ready? Are you the Amazing Spider-Man number 105? Continuing on art, as for the last several issues, is Gil Kane, the magnificent Gil Kane. But returning on writing duties for 6 more issues is Stan Lee. Common Nerd, since you're going to leave in like 5-7 minutes, why don't you sound off on your thoughts first on this issue? Because before you go in, I really enjoyed this issue, but I will explain my thoughts, why and how later. You're first, buddy.
Yes, no, I really enjoyed this issue a lot too. And I'm glad you told me that Stan Lee was writing this because that makes so much more sense because this is a Jonah Jameson heavy issue and he is phenomenal. In this episode, it starts out right away with an absolute banger. We just returned back from the jungle and all of the wonderful Gwen Stacy bikini jungle nonsense that was going on with all of that. But we had a great time with that. So he's back now. And I love this opening scene because we've got the protesters are back and they're protesting the Daily Bugle. And there's this conversation that goes on between Jonah and these protesters before the fight starts. And this kid, you know, and it's, of course, it's the editor. I'm having a brain
Robbie's
fart
son.
right now. Robbie.
It's
Yeah, it's
Robbie's son.
Robbie's son that's down there. And Robbie comes in and just absolutely, you know, I love Peter remarks the fact that they broke the mold after Robbie was born because of the things he says to his son and the way he treats him and everything else. And it's just absolutely, you want to be this kind of man. You want to be this kind of father. He is just an absolutely exemplary kind of guy. And I love it. But the fight that happens between Jonah and the protesters, this guy's like, you need to do more for the people and yada, yada, yada. And Jonah fires back. He's like, this paper was fighting for civil rights before you were born. And I got rights too. And then he shoves the kid in the face. And like, I love it because like Jonah just puts it such a good point. And whether you despise Jonah or not, how you can, I don't know. He's the kind of asshole you just can't help but love.
He's a fun prick.
He absolutely is. And it's one of those things where he's also right? Because this is something that I love because this is what happens with every new generation that comes up, right? They forget that the rights that they're standing on and the society that they live in was built by their predecessors, right? The only reason you've got DoorDash is because of, unfortunately, people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, and all the great tech guys from the 60s and the 70s and all the guys
And the weirdo man with an island that we don't
up.
like to speak of.
Right.
All that
So it's one of
TNT.
them situations where it's like you see that and it's such a beautiful representation of that. I absolutely love it. And watching Jonah just shove that in their face is great. And then of course you get to have all of the rest of the fun because the Spider Slayer is absolutely awesome. You've got a returning villain, which is great. Jonah blowing more of his money because he just can't help but spend his fortune trying to take out Spider-Man. It's great. And you've got an absolutely smashing epic reveal at the end and giving you a great cliffhanger, making you want to jump right back into the next one. Harry's out of rehab. He's completely and totally shocked. We've got our dear sweet Thompson is back, and there's something a tingling Peter's spider sense about him, which I'm very curious to see what that pays off in the future. I love that kind of foreshadowing. And the nice part is, with these writers back then, that is not something that's just going to be left on the floor and forgotten about. We will eventually pick that thread up later, and I'm excited to see that as well. So there's a lot of really fun in here. There's a lot of great action in this. You've got the deep state in this as well, because you've got a mass surveillance system being set up by the police so they can monitor you with cameras from every corner of the town. Well, that is
that's aged
New
so
York
well.
City and the right. It does, like literally New York City ain't changed much. It's so funny, boys and girls. It's almost like I keep trying to tell people, if you read the Old Testament and you look at the things nowadays, people don't change, right? This was written, 30, 40, 50 years ago?
Yeah, it's freaking
right?
funny. I've been reading stories from the 16th century, and there's a lot of crap from back then that's happening again today.
It's literally like we just need to study our history. That's why they try to erase it so much. They try to erase comics like this, right? Because if you go back and look at this, it's like, holy cow. Stan Lee was talking about this and the issues with this, 40 years ago, 60 years ago in a comic book for kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this issue's fantastic. There's incredible action in there. You get to see everything. You get some great fight scenes. The art is fabulous. The storytelling is great. And yeah, for all of the monster that Stan Lee was after the fact, the guy can whip up a hell of a Spider-Man story. He really can.
Oh God, yeah. There's criticisms we can love on Stan, but when it comes to getting a good Spider-Man story that he'll write, he can definitely do it. Common, I'm gonna give you your piece to make your exit, so you'll have a little moment to not rush yourself. But thank you for being here, sir. It was great to see you again. I can't wait to be in a future where we're not only talking classic Spider-Man, but also talking a lot more Rippaverse. It's gonna be a great future. I have no intentions of ending this show, despite whatever is going on with YouTube, whether it's here or dual streaming Rumble or even Rumble. This show goes on, and the talking about the funny books goes on.
Amen to that, brother. Yeah, no,
Plug
I'm
your
definitely
channel
not going
before you
anywhere.
get the hell out of here. It's got
Right,
the link
no,
plugged in.
Yes, thank you. I'm not definitely not going anywhere either, boys and girls. And so, although we've reduced things a little bit, we're still plugging right along. We just got to get caught up on a few things. So I certainly appreciate you guys coming to support. Yeah, come check me out on all the platforms. I will be live tonight here in about 30 minutes. So after this show's over, with Coffee Talk with Sandra over on Rumble and Pilled, we'll be playing Foxhole Squares. If you guys have never seen Hollywood Squares back in the day, it's her own version of that, just instead with personalities from around Pilled and the rest of the way around the internet. So I will be one of the squares tonight. I'm trying to blow smoke up people's butts and see if they believe me or if they catch on that I'm lying or not. So it'll be a good time. Come check that out. Bible study tomorrow. Doctor Who, again, back to some more good classic Who. We're starting a brand new series tomorrow night. So if you've never watched Doctor Who, if you want to go back, if you enjoy going back and enjoying the classic comics, I guarantee you're going to enjoy going back and watching classic Doctor Who. This is from a very similar era. It's from the 1960s. The girls are beautiful. The skirts are short. Not quite as good as Star Trek original series, but it's not half bad. At least as far as the girls are concerned. The storytelling's fabulous. So we start a new journey tomorrow night. So come join us for that. It's going to be a great time. We'll be back at it for news on Monday. Keep plugging away, keep subscribing, keep becoming members, and keep us all afloat around here. And definitely keep reading comics, boys and girls, because there's incredible stories out there, and the future is bright for all of us. And Rippaverse is just the beginning.
I
So
can't
appreciate you, boys.
wait.
All right, guys. Y'all have fun. I
Take
love
care,
you.
sir.
Be good,
Great
boys.
to see y'all. Have a great
Always.
rest of your night.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. Fenrir, do you want to sound off on ASM 105?
Oh yeah, I really would like to. Okay, this was a fine issue, quite good. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Amazingly done, particularly on the messaging of the inability to see of the next generation when they have it too good, because they can't realize of the foundations and building blocks the previous generation has built, so they shit on them because they think themselves to be soft, not ever seeing the actual difficulties the generation before had seen. And of course, as Common said, all the hilarious stuff of the police state and so on. And I also love Jameson's nature. He's the only one who can pull the Hitler stash and still be fun. It's really just him.
There was a comedian that pulled that off before. I don't know.
Yes,
if you have
Charlie.
heard about-
We'll always love him. We'll always love him, but there's a reason why I had to cut the damn thing off. As he got older.
There's so many kids right now that I talk to when I go to play Magic, and they don't know who Chaplin is. They don't know who a lot of classic.
Dude, you have no idea. I once did a joke about Houdini, and a bunch of kids had no freaking idea who that was, and it is sad. They have no idea of the classics, of the actual art of the past. And without that, I don't feel they'll be able to innovate anything.
There's kids that actually are really, really puzzled about the Freddie Mercury jokes on Invincible. They don't get why so many fans are talking about Freddie Mercury with tracks, because they don't know who Freddie Mercury is.
They don't even get the Mr. Krabs joke, which is ironic because he's still doing the damn voice.
But I mean, this conversation is really a perfect example of what was in this issue, where you have Robbie and all these people protesting against Jameson and the paper, that just flat out they don't know about what came before them. They've taken it all for granted, like they're here just to protest for the sake of protesting without even knowing, what is it we're fighting for, and why are things the
It's a
way they are.
generation without a purpose, and as such, they're trying to create one, despite the fact that it's not necessary.
And time again, you see all this talk and all these attempts to divide us. We see it here. They're always talking about, oh, it's the white man, the black man. It's like, guys, that's all division. That's also divisive. It's about the man. It's about these powers that be that do want to divide us.
Every time.
What Muhammad said? Oh shit! You just read through Court of Owls. Good
It's
book.
a good story, dude. Really good.
That's a good book. Well, I'm not going to take much of the time here anymore. Let me just finally finish and say
about the new 52. Well, that's one of the ones I don't have. Go ahead, Caster. Continue on. You were on.
actually, it was me.
Fender,
go
I'm
ahead, Fender.
sorry.
I didn't finish yet.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the points are putting in to say the police state cameras, they're an amazing tool that I hope they get used a lot more in the story. The Spider Slayer is pretty hilarious when you realize the future implications that are going to be coming specifically to Joan this way because of it. And the ending part where Peter's face gets revealed, it's freaking amazing. And I love the next issue that comes after because the way that he solves it is actually freaking genius.
It is.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, let's not get into that. But yeah, I'm glad.
So yeah, 9.5 out of 10.
Great issue. Caster, go ahead and go. Then Pablo can go. Then I'll go last.
I guess to kind of touch on the back half, which hasn't really got as much focus. Getting to see this more Spider Slayer action is always a great thing. Like, I remember having that big old DK like encyclopedia about Spider-Man and all his villains, and getting a chance to sit down and read through some classic, Spider Slayer stories. It puts a little smile on my face. And come on, I love me some big robots, so this is perfect for me.
Okay, Pablo, why don't you go ahead and go, sir?
Oh, Castor is done?
Castor's. It's not like he was done. Unless
Okay.
That's I got that as a segue. Tell me if I'm wrong, Castor. That sounds like a segue.
I sound like a segue.
There's
I
a
sound like a
lot of
segue.
fun things on this issue that I don't think you guys talk about. One is MJ keeps doing the passes, even though Peter is trying to explain her, dude, I'm with Gwen. Actually, we are trying to tie the knot. Also, we are having sex. Which part of that do you don't understand? Because MJ is like, she straight up pulls Peter from Gwen at one point on the issue. She arrives with Flash. That, by the way, seeing Flash again, we are going to get more of that sweet drama. Because let's be honest, he's just used for drama out of late. But she does the maneuver, and when he's talking to him, so I'm taking Peter back, and it's so funny, man. That whole relationship is so goddamn funny. I'm so pissed that without Gwen Stacy, we don't have that dynamic on Spider-Man anymore. Because the new love interests, at least up to the 2000s, it was more like a Spider-Man love interests rather than Peter Parker love interest. So you don't have that being bitches at each other dynamic that is so cool when you talk about a guy that is a complete nerd, right? Is the kind of male fantasy that comes from anime, not from comics anymore. And I love just a bit of that. The fact that JJ tried to hit a Spider-Man, tried to punch a Spider-Man in the face is also fun as fuck. Because Spider-Man saves him and takes him to a safe place, and his first action is like, well, I'm going to punch you. It's so fun. The character is so over the top fun. Yeah, he has a great moment when he's talking to Robbie's son about how he don't understand reality, and it hits harder when he's the employer of a guy that is actually breaking every single mold possible. Because remember, this is 60s, 70s. A lot of things have happened in that era. So yeah, things are way better. And what can be better than be one of the highest ranking positions on a company that is supposed to be oppressing your people? The fact that JJ is just pointing that so clearly is a straight up bold for this era. Because, well, they have been tiptoeing around. No, this is a clear confirmation from the writer that, yeah, this point needs to be stated. Right? Is interesting the way that everything is set up. After that half of J. Jonah having his moments, you go into another plot that is the Spider Slayer plot, but is not exactly the same. It's like it's not part of the same story. Jay is pissed. He wants revenge, but you feel like something is off. For example, no joysticks. So how is he really controlling this? He's just pushing a button. Things don't go. Oh, things don't work that way because they are intended not to work that way. And there's another plot that you are not seeing until the end when you see that, yeah, JJ got taken for a ride. He was a fool. He was absolutely bamboozled in this one. And the fact that the Spider Slayer was not working right is not an accident. It was exactly what it wanted to be, a heist. And now Stein has the power to control the whole surveillance system for New York. And he's using it right away. So you are seeing a lot of movement on this issue. It's just not straight, it's layered, right? Everything is layered. The politics are there.
It's
But
a lot more bet nuanced this time around.
yeah, it is more direct on the points, and both sides make their points. Both sides try to say exactly what they want to say.
They took the
And
race
it's the
issue out of it,
interpretation
too.
from the other side that fails. Is
Yep.
the understanding from the other side, because each one is pulling for their own framework and they don't care about the other one. And it's conveyed in 2 pages. Do I need to stress that enough? We have full comics that try to say exactly the same point that are 60 pages and still meandering. These 2 pages, that's it. That's the whole discussion. Let's go to a Spider-Man being Spider-Man. Okay, J. Jonah is an asshole. He's a clown now. So everybody can just laugh it off.
A modern comic would have split this up into 2 issues, where we would have probably cut off at the end of like the issue with Smite showing up.
Yeah, and you have that small breather with Aunt May and the moment of absolute hilarity that is when Stacy and Mary Jane, a bit of extra seasoning with the way that Flash is reacting to Peter actually being glad that he's back. Because at this point, he thinks that Peter wants him dead on War. That's clear. And he's like, well, he missed me too.
What's up, Tommy? How you doing? I see him and Phantom Outsider. What's up, buddies? Good to see you. Tommy showed up a few days ago. Great to see him once more. Phantom Outsider, great to see you as well, sir. I hope you both, you fine gentlemen, are doing exquisitely great. Go ahead, continue on, Pablo.
Dude, then you go to a few pages of J. Jonah being an asshat and trying to buy a brand new car that he doesn't understand. And it's fun. It's just really, really fun.
I agree.
he misses completely the things that are going, even though he's seen everything. He saw the haste. He just didn't understand the haste.
Mm-hmm.
He's so out of the plot on this one that is enjoyable. Is another This is a JJ centered issue. Let's be honest. They show you several different faces for Jonah Jameson. The confident, actually really intelligent man of business,
Mm-hmm.
the absolute fool, and the raging asshole in the same issue. And they give you a good enjoyment of every single one. And at the end, the thing that you should fear the most is not if your government is having a lot of systems to surveil you, is who else can use those systems, who will actually do something with those systems. And guess what? That's the point where the comic ends, because, well, yeah, you need to read the next one.
I
It's a
can't wait to
great
talk about
comic.
the
Oh
next one
no.
next week. I'm with you there, dude. No, for real though. I can't wait. So now that you have gone, everyone's gone. I'm gonna end something else different because I could easily talk about how great I enjoyed this issue and how involved JJJ was, and how he actually had a great detailed argument pushing back against him. And I like how even Randy's did. Robbie pushed back on Randy, saying, "No, hey, you can have your view, but just make sure you actually believe in what you're doing, regardless of how others feel about it." So there was still a very individual side to it. I like the action. I like the element of JJJ, even when he has moments where he's sharp, like the one we saw with him having the hard conversation with Randy and him defending himself because JJ in that moment did nothing wrong. He still shows where he can let his airheadedness get to him because he's working this technology well and more advanced, and he paid Spencer Smythe well. Elster is using his money to his advantage as well. And the fact that we have Spider-Man on a hell of a cliffhanger and one that truly feels suspenseful, I want to bring in some of the comparisons to the animated series of the 90s. Because in the 90s, they didn't really heavily involve JJJ in the story. It wasn't until the Scorpion stuff that they really brought Scorpion to be, okay, we're going to involve JJJ heavily with this villain.
Oh, but
Now,
that's the
however,
same
what
Junior.
was another thing on top of JJJ was the fact that they actually, instead of Spencer Smythe having him work with JJJ, they had him work with his son Alistair Smythe a lot sooner, though he doesn't appear in the comics until the mid 80s. Keep in mind, this issue is early 70s, so Spencer doesn't come out for another decade and change. And they brought him for the animated series. And on top of the animated series, they had your regular robot along with two bigger Spider Slayer robots. So it was regular one plus two more. So you do get the idea with Spencer Smythe. The core idea is there, but there are definitely some tweaks there, and they made it into a two-parter series. Not JJJ featured the way that we saw him in this issue and previous issues way back when. I want to give another nod to the fact that it's been a long time since the Spider Slayers were covered that we got those things from way back. We're talking like issues in the 20s or the 50s or 60s. And now we're following up in the hundreds. Not 10 issues, but over 50 issues ago. And we're finally following back up on that. Once again, it's one of those things where even something that may seem like just a fun story for the now actually has something that could become a greater element 50 issues later down the story from a continuity perspective. Stories, you get a good idea of stories that feel like, okay, there's going to be more to this down the line. This one, you're not so sure about. Lo and behold, there's something more to this down the line. And they didn't have to. They didn't have to, unlike, let's just say, the Green Goblin or Doc Ock, or even arguably Craven. But this one, they did. And boy, was it executed very well. And I can't wait to get into next week's issue and how it's going to go about the secret identity of it, because I have read before, and how they go about it is very, clever. What a
So clever,
freaking
dude.
Oh, I know. It really is. Like, and
They would
that's
never
like,
come up with that kind of way out today, man.
yeah,
I'm just saying that was cool.
yo, I agree. I'm with you,
Man,
Fenrir, and
I,
so much
I'll
more.
be honest.
This is an awesome issue. I'm happy we got this. Finally, what Roy Thomas did, two
Some old
mini
school Bond
stories.
shit, if anybody's curious.
It was awesome, and it's good to know before Stan is out the door, we're going out on a high before he's out the door and passes the baton onto Jerry Conway, which, by the way, Jerry Conway, very appropriately enough, passed away a few days ago.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah.
the man gave us the night when Stacy died. Jerry Conway, we haven't done this all stream. This glass is to you, sir. Thank you for the memories. It has been great. One of the most essential Spider-Man writers of all time. One of the most essential comic writers of all time. Also gave us great characters that he created, like Firestorm, Ronnie Raymond, to Jerry Conway. I can't believe it took us this long to get there. But once again, it goes to show you how busy this week was with the major Rippaverse news, with the passing of Jerry Conway. Jerry Conway, thank you for your comic services, sir. Salute.
Salud. Man, I'll be honest. The whole show, my brain for some reason farted and decided that the creator of the Spider's Lair was Obadiah Stane. No,
I can see why you
that's
thought
from Iron
that.
Man. Yeah, it was Smithy. But
He built the spider robot in a cave with a box of scraps.
Wasn't in the animated series made the spider's layer that is an scorpion and a spider and a glider spider? Weren't they made by his son, Smithy Jr.? Or I'm misremembering.
Say that again.
I thought it was the son of this character from this issue of the comic that was the one that made for the Kingpin the Spider's Lair.
Alistair did that. No, Alistair did it for the animated series, and he didn't debut into comics until the 80s. This issue was, I don't remember the exact time on. This issue is
Okay.
early to mid 70s.
Okay. Yeah. Then. Yeah, my brain farted. Sorry about that. Well, anyway.
So hey, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It just shows to show you there's a lot of Spider-Man lore, and at least I was able to have that compare and contrast to use as a contrast to some of the other ideas, thoughts, opinions we were all having in these issues. It goes to show you, like, once again, Spider-Man, the animated series, they took from the original stuff. They kind of did some tweaks. Some stuff they were dead on. Some stuff they definitely changed. But it goes to show you they are at least going to the good source material, whether there was tweaks or there was not. James said should have been behind the Sinister Six, says Tommy. I don't feel like that was a requirement, a la like the Scorpion, Matt Gargan. But would it have been cool if they had that happen? Yeah, of course it would be. Why would that hurt? It would have not hurt at all. Would have been nice? Of course it would have been. But, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Either way you slice it, we still get JJJ, and he's still an essential character. And when we get him, boy, you get to see him at his best and his worst. The worst is when he mistakes his relationship with Spencer. When his best is when he pushes back against guys who are accusing him of not having any self-awareness of what he's fighting for. Because he pushed back, and he even to a point where he literally got physical. And you know what? JJJ was right in that instance. He was right. You can say, oh man, maybe it was too confrontational. They had to handle it. I say he did the best he could do in that moment. And he was just probably feeling the heat of the moment. He could have handled it way worse. And way worse has been handled not just in comics, but obviously in real life. Regardless, once again, of how you swing it, it seems safe to say we really collectively enjoyed this issue, and we had a lot to take away from it. A lot to take, which is great for a single 122-page comic. It's amazing what all of us gathered, all 5 of us before Common left, from a 22-page comic book, what we all gathered. And we all had similar perspectives, but there's also something we were able to differentiate from it between all 5 of us. I think that's a testament to how truly strong this comic was. And Vince Womack says, there are rumors that Andrew Garfield is still going to get through a movie. If they do you think they're going to? I don't think so. I don't think it's even going to happen. There's been rumors on and off since No Way Home. It's not that I would be opposed to that. Once again, I try to keep opinions out of these types of things unless you ask me directly for my opinion. It's the fact that Spider-Man and Marvel are not Spider-Man. Sony and Marvel Studios are kind of like parents who are in the middle of a divorce, fighting over time with a child. No, I want time with him. No, I want time with him. That's what Sony and the MCU are doing. They're fighting over time for Spider-Man because they both benefit from it. And because of that relationship that will probably be forever strained, I think that honestly, sadly, may be the reason why we don't get Andrew Garfield follow-ups or even Tobey Maguire follow-ups is because of that. It sucks, but it's also just been the historic nature of the beast. And Just Joe, what's up, Just Joe? Says there's an episode of the 90s where Spider-Man TS, where JJJ funded. That's what I was referring to earlier, because JJJ was heavily involved in the comics and in the 90s cartoon and in even the 2000s Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, and I even think some of the video games. Yeah, actually, he was in the video games.
Yep.
Where Scorpion, JJJ were practically synonymous to each other. Whereas in the 90s animated series, Spider Slayers and JJJ were synonymous in the comics, not so much in the 90s animated series, which brings back to my point when I was saying there are times where they were very faithful to what happened in the comics, or they were not as faithful, but the core idea was there, but they made some tweaks and adjustments. The Spider Slayer files under the tweaks and adjustments category, where the Scorpion stuff was dead on.
Well, the Scorpion is J. Jonah Jameson's scene. Straight up is his scene, is his worst creation. And no matter whatever he does, whatever he tries to do, either good or bad, will be overwritten by the fact that there's a maniacal killer using tech that he paid for, and with a brain altered by, well, things that he did to him. So J. Jonah is kind of guilty on that.
It's a good plot element they can always pull at, because Jameson, for all his faults, he's just so integral to the story, where he's always gonna be blinded by that raw passion about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is an essential Spider-Man character. We have said it on here between all 5 of us that J. Jonah Jameson is one of the greatest supporting characters of all time. I don't think I'm going to get any pushback in the chat or the panel. If you feel differently, I'm sorry you do, because it really is one of the greatest things of all time. That JJJ is such an essential character.
I'd go so far as to say he's as great as Alfred.
I would agree. Hey, you're not going to get pushback from me on that. I'm in agreement. I'm serious. I'm in absolute agreement. It's not just because you and I are here on the show together. I'm with you on that, dude. I am with you. He is that essential to the story. But, guys, it has been great. It has been a hell of a show, by the way. This has been a freaking awesome show. But we're going to be wrapping things up and calling a night now that we're 2 hours in. I just want to I sound like Mike Tyson. I just want to say thank you to Brad Young for your direct donation. I appreciate it. Chat, you've been fun. You've been very engaging and productive. You may have only peaked at 17 people, but yet you are as productive as a chat that has, let's just say, like 30 or 40. And I noticed that shit, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys very much for that. And great to see faces like Tommy, Phantom Outsider, Enlightened Fan. Of course, our usuals, Brad Young, D-Bud Martin. Thank you guys. Just Joe as well. Great to see once more. Vince holding down the fort on YouTube and Rumble. Deeple, all of you guys. I miss you. I'm sorry, but know that I appreciate you nonetheless. But we're going to be calling it a night. We'll be here next week. We might have a slightly altered time. Keyword, slightly altered time. I will inform the chat and my guys if that has to change due to some life stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Worst comes to worst, it may have to start at like 5. We'll see. It may have to be like a shorter show. And Brad Young says with a super chat, partying gift for $2. Thank you, Brad. Seriously, thank you. And Brad Young, I like this con. You know what? Because it tells you more of a know me perspective. And then we'll plug our channels. No, you're right, Nick. I know basically dick about conk. Dude doesn't know jack shit about fuck with conks. And yet here he is hanging out, listening to us talk about conk. He says, and I know JJJ is a main part of the story. Let that tell you everything about the essentialness of one J. Jonah Jameson. All 5 panelists, and I'm going to continue saying 5, you know, comments I hear. We all do a microphone drop for Brad Young because that's how essential JJJ is. All right, we're going to plug our channels. Obviously, next Saturday we'll be here, maybe slightly earlier stream, most likely the case. And ducked out for a phone call. God bless you. Good night. Hey, God bless to Tetrarch of Apathy. Catch the rest of the replay. We had a fucking awesome show, dude. Seriously, you want to chat the rest of this. Good night to you, sir. Thank you for listening. As far as Clobby's Comic Shop, outside of next week, maybe being a slightly earlier show, if not normal time as usual. Nick Talks Truck Thursday afternoon, not night, Thursday afternoon. My guess will be Price of Reason. And then Toxic Tuesday, we'll be talking snakes on a plane. I'm not joking when I say we're talking snakes on a plane. We're talking snakes on a plane. And then my last thing before we get out here, and I'll let these gentlemen have their plugs. June 9th, Tuesday night, is the 5-year anniversary of Toxic Tuesday. And for that show, you're going to get rewarded with 2 things. A super hammer smash face Nick. The second, the Toxic movie tier list. Oh, it's going to be an episode. And as Jim Ross said, in the Attitude Era and in the Ruthless Era aggression, it's going to be a slobber knocker. All right, gentlemen, plug your plugs. Well, Vince Womack kindly throws the wrenches around on YouTube and Rumble. Fenrir, start it off so we can get on out of here.
Hey, I'm Fenrir, boys. You know where to find me. Twitter, that's mostly where I abscond. I am currently not reading much things on YouTube as I am busy on the writing of my book, which I promise will be out by this year. Still taking the steps. The final chapter is a bitch because you can't really, because you really want to get it right because you don't want to screw up. I know my stories are episodic, but you just want to, I don't want to screw this over, man. I really want it to be all right. And Pablo, I'm going to send you something. I'm really going to need your thoughts on it. So I'm going to, it's an image. I really want to get your thoughts on it. So I'm going to send it to you.
You're buying a choo-choo train? Because that's
Well, not that
normally when
cool,
you
but
have a lot of books sold, you know? Also,
I
I'm
plan to do that once I get to the 20th book. So it's something different. Just going to need your thoughts on that.
Okay, so just golden underpants.
Kinda.
Yeah. Okay. Nick, you are muted.
Muted yourself, dude.
I didn't
And the thing, I didn't
just
mess
said,
it up this
Fenrir,
time.
do you have anything else? That's all I said.
I got nothing else. I just say love to you guys. Sorry I couldn't make it the other previous streams. I was busy. I had dates with this chick, and I am very disappointed because it led to nothing except me wasting about 200 cans. But hey, it's life, I guess.
Hey, dude, Fenrir, if anyone is going to be having a lady pop back in their life again, it will be Fenrir. Okay, stay cool, stay elegant, stay excellent, and it'll work out for you, brother. Okay,
I hope so.
Genuinely speaking. I don't
Thanks,
hope
Nick.
so. I fucking know so.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay?
That really
No,
lifts me.
no. Thank you. Thank you. I'm serious. I'm defiantly thanking you. Pablo, plug your plug.
I don't really have anything to plug. Right now, I'm working on
just
real
say
life,
something.
getting things done. Sadly, today I got a really bad allergic reaction, so I need to deal with that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened, but who cares? To be honest, life is just moving, and thankfully, I'm able to respond. So that's all I need to do. Dudes, it's always a good breather for my week having a talk with you. And yeah, that's it. I'm just coming to hang out and enjoy.
Thank you, Pablo. Love you, man. Thanks for being here, sir. Guys, go sub to Pablo's link. Go sub to Fenrir's links for whatever platforms you use, if not all of them or any of them. Now, Ironcaster, sure. Plug your plug, and we're getting the hell out of here because you got your puppet has a show tonight. Not you, but your puppet.
Yes. Here tonight, my roommate, of course, Charlie B, the wonderful fuzzy little puppet who looks at nothing at all like me whatsoever, is going to be hanging out with Snowdub and the other puppets for over on the Tuck and Roll show. So hop on over to Snowdub's tonight and see what all those fine felted friends of ours are doing over there. That said, if you do want to see more of me and you want something to do on a Monday night, come on by my channel for Ironcaster, where we talk about big robots and a little bit more of that pop culture fun. Because I certainly believe that I think Monday's not the worst day of the week, and if nothing else, give yourself something to look forward to at the start of the week. Think about you're relaxed and loosey goosey from the weekend. You should be riding high. Yeah, Monday sucks, but you have the whole rest of the week to suffer. So let's start out at a high. And with that, thank you guys as always for hanging out. It has been so much fun. Nick, I'm looking forward to our talks for the future. And with that, folks, I bid you all adieu.
Take care, brother.
Peace.
And look at that. He pieces out. And by the way, thank you, Vince, for plugging the link. I'm going to double. That is the direct link to Snowdub's The Tuck and Roll show in 60 minutes. So Caster's puppet will be a panelist there. Brad Young, go hang out with them. It'll be great. You get you an hour rest break. You go hang out with them. But chat, thank you for being here. You are awesome. We'll see you all next Saturday, whether it's 6 o'clock Central or 5 o'clock Central. I will see you then. But we're getting the hell out of here. Goodbye, good fight, and good night.
I smell horse shit. It's horrible, but I can smell